Yep. So, I saw the Charlie Sheen 9/11 movie. What a great way to make a return after a 5-month hiatus. Jumping straight into it, was it terrible and completely disrespectful to the victims that died on that day? No. Was it good and heartwarming and Oscar-worthy? No. It exists in a middle ground for me. Of something that's not great, not terrible, it just kind of exists. Even its tackling of 9/11 wasn't terrible and wasn't great, and just kind of existed in its own right as a plot point, a means to tell a story. So for the premise, we have 5 people trapped in an elevator after a plane hits the first tower, and as they try to cope with the situation and also find a way out of there alive. Charlie Sheen, the starring character, you could say, in this movie, he's pretty much playing the character from 2.5 Men, sort of snarky, sarcastic, mildly narcissistic, antisocial, just your average everyday smartass, who's also a billionaire. His character didn't feel fully fleshed out. He shows some tidbits of emotion, but aside from that, I can't call him a fully three-dimensional character, and that's a problem with the others too. The acting is fine, but the development in the material they're given don't give enough to the characters. They talk a lot, but say very little, if you know what I mean. Very little about their characters, just very little, period. As for the pros of this movie, I can't say it was that disrespectful. I can tell they came at this with heart and care about the issue. I don't think they set out to offend anyone, and I don't think this would offend that many people. At least not as much as everybody expected the trailer to lead us to believe. And going back to the acting, again, this isn't a poorly acted film. Whoopi Goldberg, I forgot to mention, she plays the elevator attendant, and she pretty much acts as sort of emotional support for the characters trapped in the elevator, kind of acting as sort of like a guide for them, a person in the outside world to talk them through and let them know everything that's happening. As for the cons, again, the characters are bland, and the plot overall, well, the movie as a whole doesn't make much of an impact. It doesn't add much new to the events of 9/11. It doesn't really do much with its characters, and overall feels incomplete. It feels like there might have been 10 or 15 pages missing from the script to make this feel like a complete picture. There's potential for this to be great. They didn't fully achieve that potential, but they made an effort. Overall, I would not recommend this movie. Again, it's not terrible and offensive. I doubt this movie would piss too many people off. It definitely is more like just a made-for-TV movie. You kind of see every now and again and then change the channel after 10 minutes because it just doesn't invest you that much. That's kind of this movie. Not great, not terrible, just meh. It exists. Okay, spoilers. Gonna go into the ending of this movie and whatnot. So spoiler alert, the buildings collapse, and the person trapped in the elevator in the end who does not make it out is Charlie Sheen. A firefighter tries to help him out, but it's too late, and they sort of sit there and accept their fate. Cut to black. The issue I have with that ending is that we spend an hour and a half with these characters learning about their connections, their interpretation of those connections, and how they've shaped their lives, and nothing is really done with it. I think what would have improved it, maybe, is in the end, them reconnecting with their family members. Because as far as they're concerned, they're all dead. So maybe end it on an optimistic note, or maybe that's not the director's intention, but something along those lines. We develop their relationships, but they sort of hang in the air to where they feel unnecessary and unneeded in the end. Yeah, I definitely feel like the movie should have had more to do after the inevitable collapse of the building, just to see how the events fully shaped the characters we've spent so much time with. And it doesn't do that, so it feels minute. You could say that it's more about 9/11 and less about the characters themselves, but it doesn't come across that in the movie. It definitely has an emphasis on these people rather than the full event. It feels more like it was designed to tell this movie about the elevator than tell a story about 9/11. In the end, it feels like it's missing a piece. Not missing a piece, but missing about a dozen tiny pieces to insert here and there throughout the film to make this a fully fleshed out, emotional, and downright tear-jerky movie. But it doesn't fill in the holes that it needs to, and it just feels like another bland movie you're going to forget about. And that's probably what's going to happen. Out of the 9/11 movies I've seen, World Trade Center, Incredibly Loud, Extremely Close, and United 93, this is definitely the worst out of the bunch, strictly because of its underdevelopment and overall blandness. That's the biggest sin of this movie, you could say, is that it's just bland and dull and forgettable, which I suppose is better than offensive. But what do you think of the 9/11 movie? Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And always, follow us on social media. Did I say that? I don't think I said that. Yeah, do that. I don't feel comfortable putting ads on this video, so I'm not going to.